Does that spell like what's? I'm
It's
seeing an L.
Yeah, LGBTQ, and then they say pride.
Where's the plus?
Pride.
Isn't there meant to be a
It's
plus?
meant to be IA plus. I think a lot of organisations just do LGBTQ, and they're meant to cover the
Everything.
I, intersex, and A, asexual.
Yes.
There's still the stigma of most identities. I think gay and lesbian has improved a lot.
It felt really personal, especially when they were trying to find better words like rainbow community and tomboy rather than just saying the gay or lesbian or mask. I also liked when the man asked the person what pronoun they go by. Instead of saying that he couldn't do it, he just said that he couldn't understand the use of that one because it is plural, but it still felt a little bit okay because he's gay himself rather than from a straight cis heterosexual male saying that. I also enjoy the bottom screen showing the definitions of the word just so that those who don't know exactly what those words mean, they can understand it from there. I enjoyed the setting with the trees. It was very peaceful.
A comprehensive but easy to understand and relatable way to teach older people about pronouns and sexual orientation and gender orientation in a way that feels, like accessible to them. And then I watched this and I was like, oh, this is kind of exactly that. I really like the way that it was shot. It was very simple, and it was just like, two people sitting on a bench talking about their experiences, two different age gaps or two different generations, I should say. And the older man was just so sweet and lovely and open to learning. It was just wonderful. And I also liked that there was text on the screen as well, which made it easier to follow as well. And I just feel like it broke it down. And obviously everybody's experience with gender and sexuality is going to be different. But I just think like getting to hear sorry, I don't remember their name if it was even said, but getting to hear their experience with their sexuality and their body, their gender dysphoria, and how having gender affirming surgery really made everything click and made them feel like themselves, and how happy they are, and how important respecting people and being kind is.
I thought it had an interesting documentary approach to this by setting it in a park and having a conversation. And I thought that it really worked in humanizing not just the community or this particular character or this particular subject that was representing the community in this instance, but just normalizing a type of conversation, which I thought was what the piece was trying to go for, and trying to establish that people don't have to be perfect, and that it maybe the certain dynamics about the phrasings or names or pronouns might not be natural for some people, and that it's you should try to create a bridge from both ends that work to create understanding for people that are coming from this community and people who don't necessarily come from this community, and trying to create a more open space to establishing more, I thought, complexity in people's expression of gender, sexuality, and identity in general. So I thought that using this conversation really helped establish that, maintain a sense of humanity and compassion. I thought it was important, and really just made it seem natural and non-threatening, which I thought was an effective strategy as both a sort of call to action and as an educational tool in general.
Words like queer could make certain people feel a way depending on how they came to know that word. You see how now it's a word that is being used and taken back, if you will, to represent or label people that fall within that category. But it was also at a period of time used as something that was seen as derogatory. So it's just interesting to see how things have evolved. It does feel like two people having a really great conversation, deep in depth about their experiences, in the style like it's two friends conversing and sharing secrets and sharing moments. One that stuck out to me was them talking about their asexuality, being able to look at aspects of their body that they didn't feel matched to their identity, and just how these feelings affected their day-to-day relationships and how they identify themselves. And it can be convoluted, it can be confusing when it comes to the idea of pronouns. That's what you'll hear a lot of people complain about, being that it's the new language, if you will. But over time, words shift, and it's about focusing on what makes us feel like we're being inclusive and what makes people not feel like they're being mislabeled or misgendered. And if it just becomes as simple as us adjusting the way we speak or pronouns that we use, then that's not that difficult.
This piece on gender identity really breaks down the different ways to identify and educate people on gender identity, pronouns, the LGBTQIA plus community, and to be able to have two people in the rainbow community be able to sit down on a bench and have a conversation about their life experiences, their journey to figure out why they were the way that they were and how they got comfortable in their bodies, I think is just a beautiful way to kind of continuing our forward education to people who might not necessarily understand where or how people identify, but also give chance to people who are still exploring their identity options and education and to see what they might actually resonate with.
It serves for is educative for people who don't still nowadays don't really know the difference between all these letters and between all the pronouns, and it also showcases how two separate generations, our the younger generation and the older generation, when they are together, when they're talking about this subject, I'll still see things in a different way. And it's good to have these short films to educate everyone, and so that everyone can, in the world, either younger or older, know what the LGBTQ plus community is about and what people part of that community, and that in part of that community there are many different categories, many different it's not just about we are queer, but it's also about I'm queer but I'm also that, I'm queer but also transgender, I'm queer, I'm also gay, I'm queer, I'm also asexual. It's very good to get people to know, people that don't know, people that still don't want to know, to finally know and understand better what the community.
I think it does a really great job of having an important and what could be a sensitive conversation in everyday life in a way that's accessible for the audience watching it to learn how the conversation should go and also what the perspectives are of the different people and how those different questions can feel, and just having that safe space to explore these questions and explore this conversation and have like a really calm and accepting, peaceful conversation is just really great to see. And I think this would be amazing to have more widely spread on social media for more folks to learn about. It's great.